Hey, what's up y'all? It's Alex from Plus3 TCG. I'm going to be giving you another one of my deck profiles. We're going to be working with Superheavy Crystrons. Love the deck. Love that it's a 40 card monster mash and it can still OTK. Still has first turn plays as well, but that's not until we get Daichi in the next pack. And we also are waiting for Superheavy Samurai Musashi, which is another great extender synchro for the deck. But without further ado, we're just going to hop right into the deck profile. For our starter cards, we are playing as many as I think is necessary, or as many as we can, really, because this deck doesn't have a lot. Crystron Thisvern, or Thisvern, whatever you want to call it. This card allows you to destroy, essentially itself, and then special summon another Crystron tuner from your deck. And we are playing 3 of those. And the final starter card is Mathematician. This allows you to send Superheavy Samurai Giga Gloves, and Giga allows you to, you're summoning Math, sending Giga, and then Giga, when it hits the grave, you can look at the top 5 cards and stack them in any order. And then we'll get to its grave effect when we get to the card. Here are our 3 Crystron tuners. We're playing Quan, Citri, and Rion. This specials from Banish and then immediately synchros a machine type. They all synchro some machine types on your opponent's turn. This specials a Banish and then you synchro. This specials one from your grave and then you synchro. And this specials from hand and you synchro. And these are just really good extenders on your opponent's turn because you are playing a nasty extra deck that can do a lot of things on your opponent's turn. For your extenders, playing probably one of the best extenders. It's the Searcher of the deck, Superheavy Samurai Soul Piercer. We're maxing out on this because we want to see this as quickly as possible because we can loop this motherfucker right here. It is great. Being able to play this card 2 to 3 times a turn is very relevant. And when you open the 2-card combo of Soul Peacemaker and Soul Piercer, it is an instant Superheavy Samurai Warlord Susanoo, or as I like to call him, Big Susan. So you play 3 of these so you can get the searches when it hits grave from field, and you play 3 of these so that you can attach this card to Soul Piercer, and then you can tribute it, and then special any Super Heavy from your deck. And then if you attach it to Soul Peacemaker, or Soul Piercer, Soul Peacemaker to Soul Piercer, you can get a search off of Soul Piercer. And what you're usually searching for is this card. Now we are playing 3 Superheavy Samurai Scales. Another one of the best extenders in the deck because if you don't control any monsters and your opponent controls 2, you can special summon this card. Then it gets its effect to special summon a level 4 or lower Superheavy from your grave, which is super great. Which you're usually searching for the second time around on the combo. I'll show the combo later. But yeah, another really good extender. We're maxing out on those. The 2 of, we are playing Superheavy Samurai Magnet. This card, when it's normal summoned, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Superheavy from your hand. And then that just helps extend your combos from there. And it is nice opening that. This Superheavy Samurai Flutist and another Superheavy monster. Because you can normal Magnet and then summon this, and then if you have another Superheavy, this effect becomes relevant because you can tribute this card to special summon 1 Superheavy from your hand. So Magnet plus this plus another Superheavy, irrelevant Superheavy is a very good combo. But while this card is engraved, if an opponent were to target, or if you were to even target one of your monsters, if a Superheavy Samurai monster in general is targeted while this is engraved, you can banish this card, negate the target, and destroy it, which is nasty. Because nobody really knows what Super Heavies do, so when that card gets to grave, they usually just see that it tribute summons, or tribute specials. Moving on though, here's that nasty tech I was telling you about, Super Heavy Samurai Giga Gloves. Yes, when it gets to grave, you can stack the top 5 of your deck, but if it is in the grave and your opponent were to direct attack you, you can banish this, look at the top card of your deck. If it is Super Heavy, you can turn your opponent's attack permanently to 0, and you get to add that Super Heavy to your hand. Very, very relevant effect. Can potentially be a brick because you'll have to normal summon it. But even if you normal set, it's an alright to get attacked into. Moving on though, Superheavy Samurai Trumpeteer. Trumpeteer is our level 2 tuner, which we can special summon from hand, just essentially for free. You just don't have to have You just can't have spell or traps in your, I think, grave, or you can't control them. Yeah, it's in your grave. But since this card is 40 cards of monsters, we don't have to worry about that ever. The only problem is when you do special it by its own effect, you can only special summon Super Heavy Samurais for the rest of the turn, which at times can be problematic. But once we get Musashi, it will not be a problem at all. Another tuner, we are playing Super Heavy Samurai Battle Ball at 2 because this card, if you control only Super Heavy Samurais, which is another annoying part of this card, because some of the hand traps we run. This card plus a Kaiju is almost any Super Heavy in your extra deck. Because this card can target a card on your opponent's field and then use it as a synchro. Only problem is if it's a pendulum, because pendulums don't immediately go to the grave by mechanic. This says they have to go to the grave. That effect would just fizzle. So if you were to target, like, I don't know, a level like a Skullcrobat Joker to try to summon the level 6, it wouldn't happen because not all of them would go to the grave. But other than that, this card is very, very good. Moving on, we have Super Heavy Samurai General Jade. This card plus Trumpeteer is an instant summon, and is also an instant Big Susan, because when Super Heavy Samurai Trumpeteer is tributed for a tribute summon, you can special summon it back. And if you use it with this, it's kind of like running the Monarch. What is that continuous spell called? Oh, I can't remember, but it's a continuous spell. Essentially, it's just, you can order the chain where you can chain link 1 this, and then chain link 2 Trumpeteer, so that at least this card cannot get Solemn Warning. Or Solemn Strike, I mean, because you're activating its effect to go to defense when it's normal summon, and then Trumpeteer would be special summon. But that's why you always order this chain link 1 and Trumpeteer chain link 2. And then we'll go into other specifics later on. Oh, I should probably go into this card a little bit more, though. Super Heavy Samurai General Jade. It is our level 8. It is a little bit better than Benkei because Benkei requires 2 tributes, whereas this only requires 1. Even though it's an 8, as long as it's Super Heavy, you can tribute 1 Super Heavy for this. So it's a little more consistent in that fact, and that's why I play 2 of those instead of Benkei. And then our one-ofs, Super Heavy Samurai Thief. It's your special summonable tribute, MST. You just special it, tribute it, target, pop an MST, but you get to take it too, which is nice. And this is a very offensive card where when you attach it to a Super Heavy monster, it can attack twice, which is really great, especially when you attach this to Big Susan, and then that's 3,800 to the face twice. Like I was saying earlier with the Kaijus and Battle Ball, Game Seal the Cicho Kaiju. So amazing in this deck. Once you use this and Battle Ball, it is another instant Big Susan. We are trying to get Big Susan out as fast as possible, only because that deck, or only because that card is very powerful. And it's just the main boss monster in the deck. And then we're playing some hand traps. Searchable hand traps. Super Heavy Samurai Soulfire Suit. We're playing 2 of these because it prevents destruction. And it alters the attack or the defense. So you can activate this in damage calc too. So it's a very, very powerful card because it lowers the defense by 800. But for the rest of the turn, that Super Heavy Samurai monster cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect for the rest of the turn. Amazing, right? Sure. This is our Bujinki Crane, except it's for the rest of the turn. Super Heavy Samurai Soulbuster Gauntlet just doubles the defense, which is amazing paired with Soul Horns, because Soul Horns plus this is usually an OTK. Haven't seen this card since Worlds. We saw a French player representing his country playing Construction Train Signal Red. Amazing battle trap, especially with this deck because it's a searchable machine. No really further explanation. It's just a nice responsive defensive card. And then our other relevant hand traps. 2 Maxi because this deck is slow. While it does allow for some combos, most of them are 2 to 4 card combos. And as DDDs know, that's not always the most consistent way of running a deck. But Max C just helps you get into those combo pieces that you really need. And then Ghost Ogre, Snow Rabbit's really relevant because 1, it's a tuner, and 2, it stops some of the meta while this deck can't really stand up to the meta. It does, if you're a skilled player, you'll know when to use this card. And it's just a really relevant hand trap. On to the extra deck. That was 40 cards. For the Super Heavy monsters, the big boy himself, Super Heavy Samurai Warlord Susanoo, Big Susan. Big booty, 3800 defense. During either player's turn, you can just snatch a spell or trap out of their grave. You got a Solemn Warning, give me that shit. Dark Hole, give me that shit. But yeah, this is an amazing card and one of my favorite cards. This has got to be one of my favorite decks in general, so I hope they always get support. Moving on, we are playing 1 Super Heavy Samurai Beast QB. This gains 900 defense for each special summon monster your opponent controls. Yeah, this thing can get really, really big, and since all of these things attack in defense, a 2500 defense, and if your opponent has a field full of monsters, wow, this thing can get real, real big. But this is just a very, very offensive card. For our defensive cards, our Super Heavy Samurai Ninja Star 2B, this is a MST during either player's turn, and when you do, you inflict 500 damage to your opponent. So even if I steal one of your cards from your grave, I can pop it and you still take 500, and it gets banished if I stole it with Susan. Because once the card leaves the field that I stole, it's banished. So it's very nice to interrupt, like when they send the combo, like Zodiac combo, or like when this deck first came out, I could steal the Shaddoll Fusion and they couldn't use it, couldn't loop. So that was very nice, and it still is very nice. Continuing on, the newest one, Super Heavy Samurai Stealth Ninja. This can half its defense, then it can attack directly, and if it's destroyed during the next standby phase, you can special summon it for free. It is a nice utility card. 2 Super Heavy Samurai Ogre Shuten Doji. This card I was waiting for a while when the deck first came out, because this is the Harpy's Feather Duster on summon. And if you make it with Soul Piercer, because this happens on summon and Soul Piercer happens as soon as it hits the grave, you can chain link 1, chain link 2 the Soul Piercer, so you get a search and you get to hide behind your chain. So this is safe. It's very, very, very powerful combination. That's the Super Heavy cards. Can't wait for the level 5 Synchro Musashi to come out, but until then, we'll deal with Crystron and Metrics. This is a pseudo Book of Moon, except that Book of Moon, or it turns everything to defense. And when you're usually summoning this on your opponent's turn, so during their battle phase, you just Book of Moon everything, or switch everything to defense, and that's very relevant. And then Quandux, I'm debating running the level 9 Phoenix, the banish all spell traps, I think on your opponent's side of the field. It's just really, really hard to make, because the only way you're usually making it is with these 2 cards, and to get these 2 cards and to keep them out on the field is not very consistent. I'm not running a Crystron engine like the pure Crystrons are, so I gotta work with what I got. However, this is a level 4, and level 4s can be played in this deck. I can make Gigan with this. So besides the fact that it has a 2000 defense, it is a level 4 machine. And there's a Crystron lineup. And then everything else is pretty much just utility. For your spot removal for Vermilion Dragon Mech, it's really easy to get his effect off. Powered Insectron, very nice because it can be destroyed and you take no damage for that turn. Ally of Justice Cataster, no need for explanation, just a very good utility card. And then our rank 4s. More spot removal because this deck has a lot of trouble with spot removal. There is a Mass Destruction card, but whew, man, it's like, it's blue, like Soulbane Cannon I think is the name, but it's very situational and not worth running at all. And then Geargant X is pretty self-explanatory. I can essentially search anything in my entire deck, which is nice and fun, which is what this deck is for, is fun. It is a less than competitive deck, but it's up for you to judge whether you like this deck or not. I love this deck. Hope you guys love this deck. This is Alex from +3 TCG signing out.